the computer up. It's not wanting to play ball. Come on. There we go. And then I can see chat then. Okay. Who's here? Julie's here. And Maureen's here. Hello there, ladies. And the rang de life is art is here. So hello. Hello, our Maureen. My hair's a bit windswept. Now, is Carol running late to her own party? No, you see, I'm here. I'm on time. 6 o'clock. Dead on. Hello there, Mumsy Cat. Hello there, Pat. Get me bum comfy in my chair. Hang on. Now, I have a little confession to make. I've been naughty. So yesterday was my birthday, and family were not able to come over because they weren't very well. So bit chest infections at their end, and of course I can't be around anyone with chest infections. So so I moped. I moped all day yesterday, watching TV, doing nothing but. But I didn't have any cake. Anyway, I've been to see the I've been to my new doctor's today to go and see the diabetic nurse, and of course she had to take some blood. Ooh, actually, she did a good job. So to console myself for not having a birthday cake yesterday, and to build my sugar levels back up after having had my blood taken, bought myself a chocolate cake, as you do. You know, you go and see the diabetic nurse and then you go and buy a chocolate cake. What can I say? Lots of people coming on saying hello. So hello, everybody. I know, I'm always a naughty girl. Always. In one form or another. Ah, well. Never mind. Let's see. Hi, Carol from good old Iowa. Happy belated birthday. Thank you very much. Do you know, it's funny now because not many people send birthday cards these days. My mum, you can rely on my mum for a birthday card. And if I could take all the birthday wishes that I'd had on Facebook and make them into cards, I'd have loads. So thank you so much to everybody who sent me birthday wishes yesterday. Even though I was very moping, they did cheer me up. So thank you very much for that. I have to say a special hello. There are two ladies that I've met today who are, let's see if I can remember the names, June and Maxine. Now, I don't know if they're watching, but I did tell them that I was going to be doing a live at 6 o'clock today. So even if they watch this on replay later on, hi ladies, it was lovely talking to you, and this is what I look like without my mask on. But I'll save the story why I was talking to them for another day. Yeah, but they were lovely ladies. So yeah, hello to everyone that's saying hello to me. As usual, I'm just going to spend a few minutes saying hello to everyone whilst I wait for everyone to come and join us. And I'm going to clean my glasses because they is filthy and I can't see out of them. So, which means I won't be able to read it. Not even if I squint and pull a funny face, I can't read any messages that are coming up on screen. All right. Okay, let me just have a quick read. Lovely to see you, our leader. Okay, thank you. I love the way she calls me our leader. She wished me happy birthday yesterday and put our leader, which I think's quite funny. Well deserved and belated birthday wishes, thank you. Nice to see ya. Nice. That was from Wishful, thank you. Hello, Jenny. Oh, that's Julie saying hello to everyone. Thank you very much, Kathy. My mum always sent the most beautiful cards. Yeah, my mum makes cards as a bit of a hobby. She doesn't do it all the time, but she always buys me a card. I'm like, why don't you make me one and send me one? You know, that would mean a lot to me. I don't think she kind of grasps what I do. Thank you very much, Marie. Belated birthday wishes from Marie. Hi there from Buffalo, Karen. Carol, even without your gig lamps, your work will be brilliant. No, because I would not be able to see anything. I tell you what though, my granddaughter came last week. I think it was last week, and I tried her new glasses on because she's got Harry Potter style new glasses. Couldn't see a thing. Her eyesight's terrible. Yeah, you have to treat yourself sometimes, don't you, Maureen? And in fact, it's funny actually because I was saying that to the diabetic nurse today, that I've got to, you know, it's all right throwing all this medication at me, but I've got to work out what my body reacts to and what it doesn't, what it can manage to cope with. So she said, well, you know, it's all right to give yourself a treat sometimes. And I went, so I can go and have like a Mars bar every day. So she went, that might be pushing it somewhat. Okay. I started sulking. So I didn't think having a bit of chocolate cake, well, I say a bit, it's only a small cake. It's only like, you know, small. But I've eaten a fair bit of it. Well, you see, there's no point me doing a live with my mum because my mum lives in a totally different part of the country to me. And she's not that au fait with computer stuff. Crafting Patty's put tiptoes in and hides in the paper stacks. Don't hide. Come on out. Come on out, Patty. Come join us. Oh, Marie and Mumsy Cat are just swapping addresses with each other about where they live. The thing is, it makes me laugh, you know, when those from America go like, oh, I live in Tennessee as well, and it's like, it's massive county. It's like hundreds of miles. So it's like you're not like you're next door to each other. It's not like you could stand on a chair and go, ooh, hello, cooey. Oh dear. So, I don't know if Tracy's joining us. I don't think she is. I think she's been at work, so she might be a bit of a tired little person. But Julie and Maureen, so that's Disflop and Maureen. I've forgotten your other name, Maureen, on there. Maureen something. They're sort of being moderators on chat, so you need to behave yourselves. Mind you, I'm saying that. I'm saying that. They're the ones that always end up on the naughty step, to them too. And in fact, if they're anything to go by, like the last live that I did, I'll be dishing out cold porridge. No one could see my face when I said that, so I'm not sure if anyone was a bit like, oh God, she's a bit tough. They shouldn't be putting your hopes up for regular treats. But I like to think birthday cakes. Yeah, you see, I couldn't do that anyway. Because the rest of my body would just go, not having it, love, not having it. Iowa is small enough to wave, okay? Did I miss the video that says what those suitcase thingies on top of the bookcase hold? Ah, I've never let on, Pat. I've never let on. That will be coming because I'm going to redecorate them. We're ready to act. Maureen's Crafty Cottage, there you go. I couldn't remember the last part of your name on here, Maureen. Thank you very much, Lorena, wishing me happy birthday. Thank you. 90 some odd counties, Tennessee. Hi Carol, finally caught you live, yippee. been watching you for a while. Love your work. I'm from Canada. Canada. Hi there from Canada. I don't know why I say that. I just think it sounds funny. Just having a bit of tea. YouTube certainly does make for a small world. In fact, just the internet completely, doesn't it? Hello there, Kelly, who's new here. Hello, welcome. Nice to see ya. Yeah, okay. Now then, there's only the moderators that have seen what it is that I'm going to be doing today. And, oh, that reminds me. Let's see if you can work out what I'm telling you. What am I saying? I don't know what that was all about. That was very aggressive, wasn't it? But ow. That hurt. Yeah, but what's the whole saying though, Maureen? What? I think I'm going to end up with a bruise. Correct, Julie. Pinch, punch, 1st of the month. Yay, 1st of October. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I mean, it's gone so quick this year. So quick. There you go. Maureen's got it. Pinch, punch, 1st day of the month. Is that just a British thing or is it a worldwide thing? Pinch, punch, 1st of the month. I'm running out of tea. That's not on. I know. I'm going to end up with a bruise. Okay. So, what is today all about? Oh, it's not in the US. You're missing out on so much. It was always you go and pinch someone, then you punch them in the arm, then you go pinch punch 1st of the month. It's like you only ever used to do it when it was like got an R in it. Yeah, you see, I've washed out my flask, Julie, but it was smelling a bit strange and it didn't taste very nice. So it's soaking. I think I need some baby milk and sterilising fluid in it. But yeah, that was the intention, was to bring my big flask up with me so that I could make myself a cup of tea up here. But anyway, there we go. Pat must have been spelling British wrong. Rabbits, 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 yeah, that's the other one that you do on the 1st of the month. So who's looking forward to autumn? Who's glad that summer is over and autumn is here? Me. I'm an autumn girl. I'm a spring and an autumn girl. I don't like summer and winter. They're too extreme. But I like spring and I like autumn. Don't like summer. Too hot. Too hot, hot, hot. Yeah, you see, I've done that, Julie, with the dishwasher tablet. Done them. Done all of that. Done it with bleach. Anyway, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Anyway, let's get on to today. So, not so long back, I showed, oh gosh, what was it called? Is it a chandi? Anyway, it was a rag rug. Now, there are people who I know will come on and go, yeah, well, I bought a rag rug at my local Walmart and it was just horrible cotton factory. No. And if you're thinking that, you know, you're going to get loads of chindi, thank you. And if you think that you're going to get loads of sari silk in, you're not. You might get the odd 1 or 2 bits, but you need to buy the chindi rug, because that's the Indian one, so it'll have a variety of different fabrics in it. And yes, it could be dirty. It's rags. That's why it's called a rag rug. So they will have just picked up the scrappy bits off the floor and made a rug out of it. Okay, so if you're thinking that you're going to get a beautiful rug and beautiful fabrics in it, it ain't happening. But there's been lots of people doing the rag rugs, taking them all apart and all the rest of it. There's been the odd one or two videos that I've seen, there might be more, that show what you can do with it. And I will be showing you some different ideas, you know, not consecutively, but throughout all the videos that I make, I will show you some different ideas of what you can do with some of the fabrics, with the rag rug fabrics. Okay, so today's Inspire video isn't to do with me linking you to someone else's video. Today, the inspiration, hopefully, is coming from me. All right, so this is my Inspire video. And I want to show you how we're going to make some roses from the rag rug fabrics and how we're going to use it on a journal cover. Now, you don't have to just use it on a journal cover, you can use it for whatever. Hello there, Wendy. There's a few other people who've come on and said hello, and because I was busy chatting, I wasn't able to say hello, so hello to everyone. So I'm going to spin you round so that I can make a start, because I want to make sure that we get this done before the lighting goes, because I haven't got my lighting properly set up in here yet, so, and it'll start getting dark soon. So I'm going to spin you round. So for those with wobbly eyes, you might want to look away now. Up to my ceiling, press the little and bring you forward. There we go. Okay, those with wobbly eyes, you can come back again now. Now then, some of you may, well, some of you do know, but not everybody knows. I am also an embroidery designer. That's how, that's the first part of my business that I ever set up. A long time ago, was doing embroidery and teaching embroidery. And then I started creating my own embroidery designs, and this is one of them. And this one has never been released. This design is a hard angle embroidery, which means that you cut away the fabric. If I bring it up close for you to see, so that you cut away the fabric to leave holes in the fabric. Okay, now then, on here, oops, let's go to this little bit, middle bit here, see if I can get the light on it. These are little woven roses done with silk ribbon. Okay, so we're going to produce these roses but with rag rug fabric. All right, they're not going to be as tiny as this. They are going to be a lot bigger. I like that, Julie. Release it, please. Yeah, I need to draw up the chart and do the instructions, Julie. That's a job in itself. That's a week's worth of work just to do the chart and the instructions for this. So eventually I will. Bonjour there, Marie-Pierre. I can't see the rest of your name. Penloop, I think. So eventually I will, when I get a little bit more time. What's that? What's time? So let me just show you some of the roses that I've created today. Oh no, you can crack on, do it and release it by Monday. I doubt that very much, Julie. So these roses here were made with the rag rug fabrics. All right, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, right, that's it, I'm out of here, there's no way I can do this. It's dead easy, so easy to do. Now then, what we need first of all is a base piece of fabric. Right, you don't have to be good at embroidery for doing this. Now I'm using a piece of calico fabric. Okay, now I'm going to put it in an embroidery hoop just simply because it's easier for me to show you than it is holding the piece of fabric. All right, you don't have to, in fact we'll do that in a minute, you don't have to put it in an embroidery hoop, but it will work easier to be able to do it. All right, now this is a blue fabric marking pen. You don't have to use one of these either. And the reason why I'm using this is this blue one is a water-based pen. So when I draw my blue line on it, where's my water? So can you see that blue line? If I spray some water on it, it disappears. Right, so try not to use a pencil, because if we're going to do embroidery properly, not this stupid slow stitching. Did I say that out loud? If we're going to do embroidery, we might as well use the proper tools. Now then, I am going to draw around this circle as a guide, okay? And I'm going to do just one single ribbon rose to show you, because otherwise I won't get everything else done. So I'm using this circle as a guide. Now, I'm not going to give you the measurement of the circle, because you can do them to whatever size you want. So you can make a small rose, you can make a big rose. Let's just put that in there. Come on, centralise yourself. Now there's different types of woven roses that you can do, and this is the easiest one. And I've got 2 needles. Let me put them on there for you to see. Hey, come on. Play nicely, stop rolling. Right, so I've got this one here, which is a sharps needle, and it doesn't mean that it's got a sharp point, that's just the actual name of the needle, but you do need a needle that has got a sharp point. I've then got a very big fat darning needle with a big massive hole in it, and this is blunt on the end. So you need one needle with a sharp point and one needle that's blunt. Okay, we're going to use the sharp pointed needle first. Now I've threaded up my needle with some of this perlé thread. You can use embroidery thread if you want. Ordinary sewing cotton that you put on the sewing machine isn't strong enough, so it needs to be a fairly strong cotton thread. So as you can see, the width on this, but it is really nice and strong. So we're going to form a Y stitch or a fly stitch. So I'm going to come up on this outer edge here, because we're going to form 5 stitches, and I've put a knot in the back of my thread, and then we're going to form a loop and then take the needle across to the opposite side and bring the needle up in the middle. And then the needle is going to go over the top of that thread so that it forms this kind of Y shape, and then we're going to put the needle down at the bottom down here. Now we size with this, right? So we formed a Y, and it just helps to do this because it helps with the spacing, because you want these stitches to be kind of the same length. We need to put 2 more in, so I need sort of the halfway point of this section here, which is going to be round about there. And then I'm going to pop the needle down over here, somewhere near the centre. Okay, and we're going to do the same again, but on this side. Bring the needle up round about the halfway point and pop the needle down somewhere near that centre point. Okay, so we've now formed this lovely star shape of 5 stitches. And then I'm going to flip it over and finish the thread off by feeding it underneath the stitches and then popping my needle and thread through this loop to just knot it off, and do that for a second time, just so as it doesn't come undone and get loose. Okay, and then chop that off. So that's that bit done. And then I can put that needle to one side. Right, so I'm going to try and do a biggish version for you to be able to see what it is that I'm doing. Everyone okay with what I've just done there? So whilst I get my fabric sorted. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Now then, this was my box of my fabrics that I got from my rag rug. Now, I got quite a few sort of chiffon pieces in mine, which you can do this with quite easily. But, can you see here, look, it frays really easily. And it can be a little bit of a pain in the derriere. So, let me just have a look through here and see which one I want to use, because I want a nice long strip. What's that one? Ooh, that looks quite nice. Bit chiffony though, isn't it? Oh, let's do it. Let's do it with that one. Now, I'm going to use something that you might think is a little bit odd. Do any of you use hair straighteners on your hair? Okay, so I'm going to use hair straighteners. Obviously, I don't use hair straighteners on my hair, having naturally curly hair, because I don't want to get the iron out to iron this flat. But if I use my hair straighteners, so I'm just going to wait for these to just warm up a little bit, then I can run this through the hair straighteners to straighten this fabric out. See, where there's a will, there's a way. So let's just straighten that edge. Okay. And then I can start to pull it through. And it starts to just straighten the fabric. I can see already this is probably going to be a bit of a pain in the bum, this fabric, but well. Well, it just means that if you've got hair straighteners, you see, they're not just for your hair, they're for crafting with as well. I'm not going to do all this fabric because I don't need it all. Okay, let's see how we do with that. Yup, getting caught. Let me see how much I've got there. Yeah, that should be enough. Now, again, there's no set length. I can't give you a set length with this because it will all depend on what size you've done this, and it will all be trial and error. Now then, I want to cut this into a thin strip. So I'm going to fold it. Come on, give me a straight edge. Fold it again. And then I'm going to cut myself a strip. Now, if you've got a rotary cutter, you could use one of those. Now, I'm cutting this about 3/4 of an inch to an inch wide. And again, that measurement will depend on if you're doing a small one or a large one. All right. Now, if it's a small one, you want it thinner. If it's a large one, you might want it sort of nearer the inch. I'm just going to chop at a slight angle, but leave a straight edge, because it now makes it easier to thread that into my needle. And then be able to pull it through. All right, and I only want to pull a small tail through. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over and under each of these individual stitches. If I was doing this with silk ribbon or embroidery thread, I would bring my needle up from behind and leave a tail on the back side, but this fabric is too thick, so I'm just going to leave it sat on top. So I'm going to pull it through that first one and pull it through. Oh, computer's gone down. Well, that wasn't very clever. Just bear with me a moment. I'm having technical difficulties. Oh, for some reason my computer's shut down. Just bear with me one sec. There we go. Don't close down on me again. Right, so I'm just going to pull it through, and I'm going to leave a little tail just right on top of my fabric there. And then, so I went under on that one, so I'm going to go over this one and under the next one. Now what will happen is the fabric will twist on itself. That's what we want. We don't want a straight fabric. So all I'm going to do is go round in a circular motion, going over and under, over and under. So I'm going to go over that one, under this one, and then pull it through. Over the next one, under that one, and pull it through. And at first, it looks ugly, and you're a bit like, oh no. Okay. Hang on, what was that? Carol, would this work with wide organza ribbon? Yes, it would. So, over and under. That's what I say. Those small ones were done with silk ribbon. You can use whatever you have. And like anything that we do, is, you know, don't question it. Have a go. See if it works. If it doesn't work, then you've learnt that it doesn't work. And if it does work, then brilliant. Okay, so over that one, under that one. And we're just going to keep going round and round and round. So that one was an under, so I'm going to go over and then under. And can you see, look how my fabric is twisting on itself? That's what we want it to do. We also don't want it to sit on top of the previous row. We want it to sit alongside, around the outside of it. So over and under. Because having that twisted, just cut that thread off because that's going to get in my way, helps to form like the rose leaf shapes, over and under. And then over and under. See, I'm just going to keep repeating myself now. You can manipulate it if you want. Over and under. So this one's going to be a nice big fat one. Over and under. Now can you see how that one's gone dead flat? So I'm going to manipulate that, because I don't want it dead flat. I'm going to twist it. There we go. Over and under. Over and under. Over and under. Now then, can you see how here, look, I can only see that part of the stitch there. If I move the thread out the way, the ribbon out the way, I can see a little bit more of it. So you do actually want to start, as you start to get to these outer edges, you want to start just pushing it out the way, because we need this as full as we can get it. Now I'm running out of fabric on mine. I should have done it a little bit longer, because we don't want this thread to be showing. Right, so I'm going to get to, am I going to get to there? Hang on, let me just fiddle about a minute, move that through my needle. Okay, over and under. And I'm going to have to leave mine there because I'm out of fabric. But what I would do is, if I'd got enough fabric, I would have gone round again. So can you see there's only little tiny bits of that thread still showing? I'd have done another round on that. Okay, so I'm going to go over the top of that one so that it covers it up, and then I'm going to slide the needle underneath that fabric and try and slide it right the way across to the other side and pull it through. Now again, normally I would pop that inside of, pop my needle inside of the fabric to take it through to the back side, but the fabric is too fat to be able to do that. And then this little tail that's showing at this top edge here, I would actually just trim it off. Okay, and you end up with this beautiful rose. Yeah, needs to be an odd number, not an even number of stitches. Right, so it's got to be 5 or 7, but 5 works well. But as you can see, look, you can still see the stitches here. If I'd got enough fabric and gone round again, it would have been enough. But you do have to, as you start to get nearer this outer edge, you have to start tilting to try and find the stitch to just slip it underneath. Okay, let me just have a look. Will it work on an even number? No, it won't, Mary. Needs to be odd. Mary, if you ask again at the end. It's all right, we've answered that one. Beautiful. We'll give this a try. Love making flowers. Thank you. You're very welcome. Okay, so let's just say that you run out, like I just have there. You could cut yourself another strip. And again, I'm just going to trim off that at a slight angle and pop that through there. Now again, if I was doing this with ordinary thread or silk ribbon, I would bring it up from underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it underneath the actual rose. See if I can bring it through. Yes, I can. Alright, and that will sit there. Now I've left a little tail because I'm going to stitch around and over the top of that. So I'm going to go under this one because the previous one was an over. So that's going to go under. This one's going to go over and then under. So you can add another strip of fabric to it, over and then under, if you happen to run out, if you haven't cut yourself a piece that's long enough. And you don't want to pull this in too tight. You need to be able to form almost like the petal shapes. So that's over. So can you see here, look, I can't see the stitch, but if I move it, I can just see it there. Just pop that under. And again, I just want to twist that fabric a little. There we go. Pull that through, over, and then under. So you really need to fill it up right the way to the outer edge. And then over and under to be able to hide those stitches. then over and under until I can't see any more of those stitches. So as you can see, from doing it quite big, it ends up being quite a bulky rose. Almost looks like a Christmas rose, this. So that was under, so that's over, that's under. And I'm nearly running out of fabric again. And then over and under. And then over. And then I'm going to slip it underneath to the other side. Come. And then we're about done. Let me just trim that off a little bit better. Make sure obviously that you don't snip through your stitches. Okay. Now, as you can see, look, I've got that blue pen showing. So I could just get a cotton bud, wet it, and just dab it on top. I could spray it, but that could end up flattening your fabric. But you just wet it to be able to get rid of that blue line, and then it's not visible anymore. Okay. Now, one of the things that you could do, and in fact, let's just quickly do it with this. The lighting is beginning to go here somewhat. I could put, I'm not going to, but I could put some glue on the back of there to just seal this fabric, and then when it's dry I could cut off this excess, minding that I don't cut into my stitches, but I could cut off that excess background fabric so that I end up with just the rose itself. Okay, so then I could applique that rose onto another piece of fabric, or, which is the bit that I'm going to show you, dies. So I am going to cut out with my die cutter, and I think I'm going to do that size, a piece of card. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this with a piece of card in a moment. Let me just clear my decks and have a slurp of tea. Because if any of you watched the live on Wednesday, then you'll know. Oh, I didn't switch that off. It does help if you switch it off, Carol. There you go. You will know about this piece of fabric and how I printed onto this piece of fabric. I'm not going to go through it now. You'll need to go and watch Wednesday's live video to know how I did that. And this I'm going to make into my journal cover. Now, whilst I've done these onto a separate piece of fabric, there's no reason why I can't do them right on top of this piece of fabric, okay? But what I'm going to use is I've got an Amazon envelope here, and I'm going to use this as my cover. So let me just cut this down a little bit, because I know that this front facing piece is the right size. I'm going to straighten it up in a minute once I've chopped it up. Right, so I've cut that into two separate pieces, and then cut across there, which is the flap part. Right, just get my paper trimmer out. Oh, sorry, just knocked the camera And I'm going to just trim this down to square it up. I can't wait to get my lamp set up, because now the nights are getting darker. It means I can only work till a certain time for you guys to be able to see. I just don't want to set the lamp up in the window whilst I haven't got any curtains up. Okay, so as you can see, look, that fits comfortably on top of that piece of fabric, so it means the fabric will sit on top of this. Now, one thing that a lot of people do is they would then glue this piece of fabric to that piece of card using their fabric tack. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use a piece of felt, because one of the problems with attaching fabric to card with your glue is sometimes the glue can seep through the fabric, and especially as we have printed this, that dampness, that wetness of that glue might actually start to make this fabric bleed. All right, so I'm going to attach a piece of felt on top of that piece of card, and I'm going to use my fabric tack for it, because I'm using it with fabric, because the felt is fabric. Okay, so at least the fabric tack is not going to seep through the felt. Come on, Mr. Glue, come through a little bit faster, please. I think I've got a bit of a blockage. Just bear with. Let's try that. There we go. I can be fairly generous with this. Now obviously you need to be careful what colour felt you use, because it might show through with the fabric that you then sit on top. And this acts as a nice piece of cheap padding. Now you could use wadding, you could use interfacing, but I like the feel that the felt gives. Okay, trim that off. And then I can sit this piece of fabric on top, flip it over, and I don't have to put any glue on the front, because the felt now acts as a little bit of a buffer, and sort of it stops it from moving about. It grips the fabric. So in fact I just want to move that down just a little. Let me cut the angles off first. And I'll also cut off a little bit of this excess. And a little bit of that excess too. So I don't know whether any of you have noticed, but these are a different colour to what I normally use. So in my house, pink scissors are for fabric, and the black and the green scissors are for paper. The amount of husbands that come along and take fabric scissors and then use them for chopping up metal and paper, and like, ah. Okay. Oh, that's my pokey tool just dropped on the floor. Now I'm just going to stick this down on the back. Because I'll be covering this over with paper on the inside, it doesn't matter if the glue seeps through. And I'm not putting it right up to the edge of the card either. And then storm across there. Dink that corner in. Same with that one. Is the lighting alright for you guys at the minute? Because it's getting dark here for me. I'm kind of guessing you can still see okay. I'm always full of amazing tips, Wendy. You've got to remember, I've been doing this a very long time. Okay, so I've no glue on this front piece at all. The felt is holding it in place. So all I've done is I've placed glue around here and I've pulled it in firm enough that it's holding it all in place. And then I'll cover this inside with some decorative paper. So if I just, let's see if I can, no, I'm not going to try and fold it. Just bear with me. Let's see if I can do it in half. So what's that? 8 and 3/4 of an inch ish. So what's that? What's half of that? So that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So another 3 on top of that. 1, 2, 3. So there's about the halfway point. There-ish. I'm going to have to use my ruler. So it won't go through all of those layers. Stick it in there. Right, 1, 2, 3. Johnny caught a flea, put it in his pocket and he had it for his tea. Alright, let's see if that will fold easily. Okay, so there we have a nice fabric cover. We just have a read. The lighting is fine, can still see. Yes, we can still see you working your magic. I love precision like that, Phyllis. Or in a bit. Okay, so that's now my fabric covered cover. And I want to use, put this out the way, that fabric with the ribbon roses on. And I want it to sit there as almost like a medallion. Now I'm not going to get my die cutter out. I'm just going to draw around this circle and cut it out by hand because it's buried underneath a whole ton of stuff that I've piled up. So I'm just going to cut a circle and a rubbish circle at that, Carol. That'll do. That'll do. Okay, hokey dokey dokey. So again, keeping my scissors still and rolling the card around. This is going to be a rubbish wonky circle. My God, I needn't have bothered drawing any lines. I've not followed any of them. One circle. Come on, thread. So my nails are getting too long now. I can't pick things like pencils up or thread and cotton. What did I want to do? I wanted the felt again. And the fabric marking pen. Oh, in fact, tell you what, let's keep that big bit. Let's use this little bit. And I'm going to draw around this circle twice. And then I'm going to cut one out a little bit smaller than the actual pen line, which is a good job because I'm not following the pen lines at all apparently. And then I'm going to cut one out a lot smaller because we're going to form a dome. Okay, so this one I'm cutting well within the lines. You know how they say colour in the line, colour outside of the lines? That's a little bit like my cutting. Colouring outside of the lines. Oh, got a point on that one. There we go. Let's just make sure it's a lot smaller. I want to trim a bit more off. Because at the moment I've got an oval. Let's check that. There we go, that's better. So can you see the two circles, how one's a lot smaller than the other? So we're going to put the small one on first. Put my pen on, nib on. So we're going to put the small one in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to put some glue around this outside edge. Then we're going to sit the big one on top. And again, this can be done with wadding that you use in quilting. And that helps to form a little bit of a dome. Now this isn't much of a dome because it's only felt, and felt isn't very fat. So it'll only form a little dome. Right, so I don't know whether you can see the dome on that it's formed. It's very slight. And then I'm going to do a running stitch around the outside edge of that circular fabric. Wondering if I could make the flowers on a doily. Do them on whatever you fancy. So I'm just going to do a running stitch all the way around this outside edge. And you don't want to do massively big stitches because otherwise it won't gather up properly. If you do them too big. So I'm sorry, you're just going to have to persevere with me. Or run off to go and have a bathroom break, make a cup of tea, and then come back. Oh, my needle's come unthreaded. So I'm just doing this running stitch around the outside. I'll still be here when you get back if you want to just bob off to the loo. Way up, I can't see the whole of my needle now because it's getting too dark. Bit of spit. think it's there. Is it there? Oh, no, maybe not. Come on, needle, you're on camera. Behave yourself. Oh, that bit of glue there's annoying me as well. It's distracting my thoughts. Hang on, let me do it on there. Let's see if I can see. It's because the lighting's going, I can't see what it is that... Oh, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it! Yay! Okay. Small running stitch. Now you could do 2 of these and stick these back to back, and they would make a pretty ornament. But as I say, I could have done these roses on actually on the cover, on the fabric cover, before I stuck it on. So, you know, don't think that you've got to do it separate. I think it's gone quiet. I think everyone's bobbed off to the loo. I'm sat here talking to myself now. Oh, computer's gone off again. Okay, bear with me while I go and switch computer back on. Stupid thing. Keeps going like, well, I've been on for like half an hour and you haven't done anything on here, so I'm switching myself off. Come on, switch back on. Oh, so I'm back in again. There we go. We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. But, you know, I can't rush this bit because otherwise it won't work properly. And you would say that I was a rubbish teacher, produced a load of tat. And we don't want that to happen. It's gone quiet now, look. I'm concentrating. And I can't talk when I'm concentrating. Hey, we're there, we're there. We're back to the beginning. Yay. Okay. So I'm going to sit that, that's the felt side. Oh, that's the card side, that's the felt side. I'm going to sit that on top. I'm going to flip it over and then I'm going to pull in this thread. And it will draw in the fabric over the top of that cardboard circle. And you want to pull it in nice and firm. And then take it straight across to the opposite side and pop the needle through the fabric, and it will just pull it in. And again, other side. Oh, come on. And then I can form a loop, pop it through the loop and tie off that thread. So we've now got this lovely little dome of flowers. Right. So now I'm going to put some of my Tombow glue on the back of this. And across the centre. I want that purpley one at the top. I'm going to sit that There. Right, now I would have to sit here with this, with my hand on top of it. What are you lot talking about Tesco's for? It's like Walmart in the USA. What is Asda? Asda's a food store, but they sell clothes as well. But you lot are obviously chatting about our stores. Yeah, our stores are very different to yours. After having been in America, excuse me, our craft store, main craft shop is Hobbycraft. We have independent crafters, crafting shops, but in terms of, you know, big stores. Alright, and then I want to put some of this pearl trim around this outside edge, because this can sometimes look a little bit not particularly neat. Now I'm not going to glue it on now because I need to sort of sit and concentrate and make sure that this is glued in place. But if you can imagine that being all around that outside edge. I don't know if you can see that. Come on. So it would look like that. Okay. And then, where's my leaves? I've got a tub of leaves. I want these dark ones. And then once I've glued that on, I would then insert these leaves so that they just tuck underneath the flowers a little bit. One in there. That's a dark one. Okay. So I would probably not use these leaves. I think they're a tad too big. So I need to have a look through my leaf collection and determine which ones I want to use. Find some slightly smaller ones, I think. But you kind of get the gist of what it's going to look like. Okay. And as I say, by the time I put the beads around there as well, put some seam binding on as a closure. But you can see from the printed fabric, that was like maybe something new for some of you, doing the roses with your rag rug fabrics. So that's just one little tip of something that you can create with that sort of fabric. I'm going to leave it there because the light really isn't great here for me. I can see that it's showing up on screen okay, but I can hardly see what I'm looking at. Has anybody got any questions? I'm thinking this would look amazing using threads to recreating miniature over a button. Yes, it certainly would. Well, as you saw from, where to put the fabric? There. From the embroidery fabric. That's the back, that's the front. You can now see the difference in size. So that was done with silk ribbon, and those were done with the fabric. So you can see how much smaller they are. I mean, the thing is, with anything that we create, with any video that you watch, it's about looking at the initial idea and then thinking, okay, how can I utilise that idea? How can I change it? How can I mould it so that it suits my purpose, my needs? Okay. So yeah, putting them on buttons would be lovely. But it is a really it's an embroidery technique. But I just thought it was a great way of using up some of those rag rug fabrics. Let me just have a read of chat. You see, I use different glues for different things. So like when it comes to putting this bead trim on, I will use my glossy accents to put it on, because it tends to hold things like this and metal in place really well. And then I use fabric tack just purely for fabric, and as well because of the expense of it. You know, it's expensive stuff, is fabric tack, so I want to use it what it's intended for. But I do have a video on the different glues that I use and what I use them for. Thank you so much for the tutorial, Carol. We'll definitely try this soon. So many projects and possibilities coming to mind. Well, that's great that I've been able to inspire you, because that's the whole idea of these videos on a Friday night, is to give you some inspiration ideas of things that you could utilise and that you can do things with. But yeah, I hope that's giving you an insight in how you can do those roses, how you can use some of your rag rug fabric. And if you haven't got rag rug fabric, try it with ribbon, try it with your ordinary fabrics. Cotton fabric doesn't work quite so well because it's quite stiff, and obviously it's printed on one side and not on the other, so you won't get the same kind of effect. Have a go at dyeing your own fabric. Because as you can see from this purple one here, it sort of, and the pink one, it changes colour, so you could dye your own. Have a go at doing it with seam binding. You know, lots of different ideas, but it's up to you to take these ideas away and go and play with your own things. Okay, so thank you very much, moderators, for looking after everyone and making everyone feel welcome. Thank you everyone for joining me this evening on the live. As I say, when I do recorded, I can only do 30 minutes worth of video, and I knew that this was going to take longer than 30 minutes, so that's why I decided to do it as a live. But yeah, in fact, let me just spin you back round. So wobbly eyes, look away now. And then I could say good night to you properly then, can't I? So yes, thank you for joining me. Please don't forget, if you would share these videos that I'm making with other friends or family. Sorry, I'm just peeling the glue off my thumb. If you share it, and you know, other people might have a go at doing it as well. It helps me out a lot if you share these things. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Very much appreciated. Oh, very important, because it's been my 21st birthday yesterday. I wish. I've actually got on my Etsy store, I've got a 20% discount to say thank you for your support. It's on until Sunday, and it's across the board. You get 20% off everything in my Etsy store, and the link will be, it's not there now because this is live, but when it's finished, I'll put the link in the description box. Excuse me, underneath. It's underneath previous videos anyway. I'm going to go off and have my fish and chips now. So if you've been looking at the new roses digital kit that I've done, and the butterfly digital kit that I'll be working on Sunday, you might want to, you know, maybe think about having those. And if you can get them with 20% discount off as well, bargain. Okay, thank you very much for joining me, ladies. It's been lovely spending time with you again. Don't forget to please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. And if you are new, hello, welcome. And I'll see you all again on Sunday. Not worked out yet whether it's going to be a live or a recorded. Depends how I get on. I might be feeling ill tomorrow from my chocolate cake from earlier. Oops. Cheers, everyone. Good night. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye. Bye. Love you. Bye. Bye.